Ladies and gentlemen, it's a big, weird, wild world out there, folks, and here we stand. Al pie del cañón, ready for anything. I'm Rob, and you're listening to...
The ProBoh Show!
Welcome, boys and girls. Oh my God. If you're just listening on the radio or just on the podcast, then you missed a little preamble to the show there. Where I was saying good morning to the community. In this chat, we have Jeffa, Nessa, Min, Pedro from Instagram, Vero. Did I say Nessa? I did say Nessa. Eugene, Born to Iron Man. Oh my God, guys. We have all the quality here. Close the door behind you. We don't need any more. How are you doing out there, friends? I was just explaining to everybody that we do stream outside of the show's regular hours, but we do that mainly on Discord. On my Discord channel. You can find links to that if you just search for me somewhere. If you find your way to my Twitch channel to watch the show, you'll find a link to the Discord in there somewhere. And in there, we do all sorts of activities, including a 24/7 stream of the ProBoh Show. Oh my God, for those of you who are just that little bit too addicted and you need to scratch the itch at some time, you can find it there. But firstly, a big welcome to my amazing Twitch community joining me live on the show at twitch.tv/professional bohemian. That's Bohemio Profesional, pero en inglés. How you doing, guys? If you want to be as cool as these people, you just have to join us there. If you want to interact with the show outside of our normal times, you can do that on Discord, as well as on my Instagram when I post the daily polls for our unpopular opinions. On Instagram, it's @professionalbohemian. That's Bohemio Profesional, pero en inglés. How you doing out there, guys? So Nessa mentioned earlier in the chat, it is hot. Oh my God, is it hot? It's crazy today. So, I felt the need to explain a little bit for our American listeners. For those of you who don't know, the American audience makes up the vast majority of the podcast downloaders. We are experiencing a heat dome here in Western Europe. A heat dome. How would you say that in Spanish? Un cúpula térmica, would you say? Do I get a nivelazo for that? Cúpula térmica.
¿Será posible? Vaya nivelazo.
I don't even know if that's or cúpula de calor or something. I don't know. So heat dome. I did find an article with regards to this from severeweather.eu. Heat dome forecast to peak the powerful heat wave across Europe this week, with potential rising for significant severe weather and flooding threats as we head into next weekend. Oh, friends. But I don't even use CO2 emitting. I recycle. Why is this? Cúpula térmica. Is that right? Oh my God, dudes. Come on.
¿Será posible? Vaya nivelazo.
Hey, elves. I got that right. The elves get happy when I get something correct in Spanish. So yeah, we're experiencing this heat dome. How to explain a heat dome? The heat dome phenomena responsible for the extreme temperatures acts like a lid, trapping warm air at all levels, leading to record-breaking temperatures both during the day and at night. Oh my God. I slept on the sofa last night with a fan pointed directly at my head. So yeah, think of it like, do you guys know the expression, a Dutch oven? You know the expression Dutch oven? Sorry, Min, I know you are from the Netherlands, don't. Un horno holandés. Do you know that? Do you know that expression? That's basically when you fart. Tirarse un pedo. When you fart in a bed, and you've got a duvet, and it forms its own kind of little heat dome. But just replace the foul-smelling gas for heat, and there you have an approximation of what a heat dome is. There you go. I explained it in ProBohese. Now you know what a heat dome is, my friends. Vero, 22 degrees around here, and it isn't 9 o'clock yet. I know. In Madrid, we're going to get into the 40s today in the center. It's going to be a miserable day. I actually don't know what the forecast is for today. Madrid temperature. Oh my God, it's currently 27 degrees and it's not even 9 o'clock in Madrid, in Spain's capital, where we produce the show. 27 degrees at 8:30 a.m. Oh my God. By the way, guys, if you're listening live, it's 8:30 Central European Time, 2:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. For our friend joining us from Russia, it's 11:30 a.m. How you doing, guys? Let's see. Eugene, actually, our Russian friend, said it's 16 degrees where he lives. Oh, I would love that. Nessa laughs. I hadn't heard that one. Well, there you go. I've a non-scientific explanation for what a heat dome is. It's like a Dutch oven, but for heat. Women probably hate it, says Jeffa. So there you go. So we're going to exceed 40-degree temperatures according to Severe Weather Europe. In several regions, due to the fast heat dome settled over the continent. This heat wave, which has particularly been intense over south-central Europe, is anticipated to peak this week. Countries like Spain, Portugal, France, and Italy, and the Balkan Peninsula are expected to witness scorching temperatures. I can confirm. It's miserable out here. It's just miserable. Oh, yeah, I just need a break. I called my mum yesterday. I was so miserable. I said, Mum, I'm melting. And I've both my dogs ill. Oh, God, it's just a mess. Don't work from home, friends. It's miserable. I'm in the outskirts now on vacation. Outskirts of Madrid, says Vero. Oh, so jealous. So jealous. Where, meanwhile, those of us in the city centre are melting. I'm melting. Let's get into some news, my friends. A groundbreaking federal court ruling in the States here with regards to AI. I want to briefly cover this because it has implications for the current strikes happening in Hollywood. So here we go. This coming from, was this Business Insider, this one? Yeah, businessinsider.com. AI-generated art can't be copyrighted. AI-generated art can't be copyrighted. El arte generado por IA no puede ser objeto de derechos de autor. It can't be copyrighted. A federal judge rules with potential consequences for Hollywood studios. As you know, the strikes that are happening, the SAG-AFTRA strikes right now, in part are actors and writers looking for protection against AI. This court ruling could be a game changer for those people. So here we go. Let's get into this news. A federal judge has ruled that artworks generated by artificial intelligence cannot be copyrighted, emphasizing that human authorship is a bedrock requirement of copyright. That human authorship is a bedrock requirement of authorship. A bedrock, I guess the best translation in Spanish would be es fundamental. La autoría humana es un requisito fundamental de los derechos de autor. So it's something being created by a human mind or human hands is fundamental to copyright. Nivelazo from Nessa, thank you.
¿Será posible? Vaya nivelazo.
What is it like in England? Did your mum tell you? I guess given that it was over 40 degrees yesterday, she was too sheepish to complain about the heat. I don't think they're experiencing the heat dome like we are, Nessa. Okay, let's continue on with this news. The decision came after Stephen Thaler attempted to have his AI system recognized as the sole creator of an artwork. A recent entrance to paradise is the name of the work. The judge upheld the US Copyright Office decision to deny Thaler's copyright application, referencing past cases like the monkey selfie, where non-humans... Have you heard about this case, guys? So a photographer left a camera and a monkey accidentally took a photo of itself. The owner of the camera could not copyright that image. That image is public domain because the person himself did not take the photo. A monkey did. So because of this selfie made by a monkey, it's impossible, or at least not legally qualifying to have anything not generated by human hands become subject to copyright. So what does that mean? If we roll this over Hollywood, I guess there's going to have to be some kind of check and balance up to a certain point. How much is a work being created by artificial intelligence? This could be a real help to those actors and writers right now, currently striking against the Hollywood movie machine. Interesting. Let's see what people are saying. What is it liking? Guys, you've gone quiet. Oh my God. Okay, next, let's take a little dive into the world of Elon Musk, shall we? It's the Musk Hour. Well, I first wanted to cover a piece of news by the Daily Beast, and it covers something about technology, why technology is making us miserable. Why is technology making us miserable? The article is quite unfairly, I think, titled "Elon Musk and Tesla Syndrome explains why tech is making us miserable." Elon Musk y el síndrome Tesla explican por qué la tecnología nos hace miserables. Is tech making you miserable, guys? Well, this author of this article thinks Tesla syndrome may be to blame. By the way, Tesla syndrome is not an actual thing. It was created by the author of this article. So if you're thinking this is some kind of a scientific or sociological thing, no. A writer came up with this. The article from the Daily Beast discusses the Elon Musk and Tesla syndrome, suggesting that the rapid technological advancements championed by figures like Elon Musk might be contributing to societal unhappiness. While these innovations promise a brighter future, they often lead to increased pressures, such as the need to constantly upgrade devices or adapt to new technology. The article raises concerns about the mental and emotional toll of living in a world where technological change is relentless, emphasizing the importance of finding a balance between embracing progress and ensuring well-being. Do you experience this? I've got to admit, I don't. I kind of embrace technological advancement. Maybe I don't embrace Elon so much. But I certainly embrace technological advancement. It's one of the things that, at least for me, kind of, brings me quite a lot of joy. New things to learn, new things to discover. As you know, I've been kind of at the forefront of this. Well, at the forefront. I've been I keep up with AI news. I try and check out new technologies as they appear. So quite far from me experiencing Tesla syndrome, as this author calls it. I experience a certain amount of tech joy, but if you're one of those people who do suffer a little bit of anxiety from the ongoing march or the relentless march of technology, this author thinks he knows why. Should we cover some more Elon Musk? Elon recently, as an aside, Elon just admitted that Twitter may fail. Sorry, not Twitter, X. Elon Musk and his goth face. So Elon Musk admits X may fail after glitches deletes Twitter photos. Uh-oh. Did you have photos stored on Twitter? Well, Elon's X platform may have just deleted them. Elon Musk, who now owns the platform formerly known as Twitter, expressed concerns that the social media site might fail after a glitch resulted in the deletion of photos and links from posts made before December 2014. Over the weekend, users observed broken links in place of previously uploaded pictures and videos. Some speculated this glitch was an attempt to save on storage costs, while others believed it was related to the platform changes made in 2016. Is this a big deal to you? I've got to admit, anything prior, I can't even remember what I was doing in 2014. And if pictures exist and I had hair in them, better that they've gone. Honestly. Let's see. He might be, but not because of technology, says Nessa. I mean, Mr. Musk not contributing to a better world. Fancy that. Yeah, I mean, there was that... Remember a couple of years ago, before Elon became the world's internet troll? Remember when he was talking about making a better world? He's going to move us all to Mars. What happened to that, Elon? Prior to his goth phase. What happened to him? I don't like Twitter anyway, says Nessa. I used to love Twitter. And you know what? I think the world needs a social media platform that isn't based on just pictures, that's based on words. That's why I love Twitter. So it's kind of a shame to me to see what's happened to it, I'll be honest. You know? Anyway, whatever. I mean, eventually we've got to hope that Threads, Facebook's answer to Twitter, makes it to Europe. Currently it's still blocked thanks to EU privacy guidelines. That's not me complaining, by the way. I'm very grateful for the EU taking care of us like that. So eventually it'll get there. Or Blue Sky, the former Twitter owner, Jack, or CEO Jack Dorsey's new platform. Hopefully one of those will open up. Twitter is now full of trolls. Yeah, it really is. There's quite a lot of hate going on there. PJB says, I wonder if the boxing match between Musk and Zuckerberg is still on. No, sadly, PJB, I don't think it is. Elon has been trying to backtrack out of that boxing match since he announced it. And I think finally he's just waiting for the dust to settle. You know, weirdly enough, Zuckerberg seemed to be really keen for this thing. You know, I don't want to come across as a Mark Zuckerberg apologist or anything, but, you know, I kind of, I respect his game, man. I respect the man's game. All right, should we get into today's unpopular opinion? I think so.
Unpopular opinion.
Okay, guys, it's time for an unpopular opinion. Today is one of the most unpopular ones we've done for a while, so let's see. Okay, first of all, what is an unpopular opinion? An unpopular opinion is a brain fart, un pedo cerebral, un pedo mental, una rayada. I share it with you on my social media, namely my Instagram. That's Instagram at Professional Bohemian. You guys vote, but the real decision makers are the people who watch the show live. That's you guys here in the audience. So yesterday I made the statement, race swapping fictional characters is not a big deal. That's changing the race of characters in fictional pieces of work. Popular recently, I guess, because of The Little Mermaid and several other properties where people have seemed to be really upset about this. In the Lord of the Rings, making black hobbits, and people freaked out about that. So I made the statement, race swapping fictional characters is not a big deal. On Instagram, what did people say? Well, here we go. 65% true. 65% true. Yeah, okay. Okay, this is going to be... there are strong feelings with regards to this one. There's strong feelings with regards to this one. Funnily enough, 65% true, but I got some messages, my friends. Oh, did I get some messages? I got one in particular for someone who asked to remain anonymous. Here it is. He said, it is. I hate this new woke agenda. You know, I hate the word woke. Oh. Anyway, I hate this new woke agenda. If we're going to replace white characters for black actors, they need to replace historical people of color with 100% pure Caucasian actors for those films as well. Swap the roles and watch everyone as they're suddenly not okay with it. Yeah, it's a lot of strong feelings. Vero also said, it is a big deal. When a child grows up with the idea of a red-haired, white-skinned mermaid, it's more difficult for him to see another image of it. I mean, my argument would be, and? Yeah, I don't care about this in the slightest. Let's go over some pros and cons, shall we, before we get into the full crux of this issue. So here we go. Race swapping fictional characters is not a big deal. In the pro column, agreeing with that statement. Changing the race of a fictional character can lead to more diversity and representation in media. This can help minority audiences see themselves in popular culture. Characters in fiction are creations of imagination. Their characteristics, including race, can be fluid and subject to change, just like other aspects of their personalities and backgrounds. Next, a change in a character's racial or cultural background can provide fresh perspectives, adding depth and layers to a story. And finally, race swapping can help update older stories, making them more relevant and relatable to contemporary audiences. I can just tell right now I'm going to get a ton of messages calling me woke. Until I say something that people consider right-wing, then I'll get a ton of messages saying, oh, you're a fascist. This is where it is to live in the middle, friends. Okay, in the con column, disagreeing with the statement, saying that it is problematic to race swap fictional characters. Changing a character's race might lead to inappropriate or inaccurate depictions of a particular culture or ethnicity. Altering a character's race might deviate from the original creator's vision or intent, which could be tied to specific cultural or historical context. If not done thoughtfully, race swapping can come off as a superficial attempt at diversity. I think this is a lot of people's opinion here. It can come across as superficial rather than a meaningful inclusion. And finally, and I think this is a point that Vero was making, long-time fans might have strong attachments to a character's original depiction and feel that changing fundamental aspects like race alters the essence of the character. All right, let's get into it. Let them fight. Okay, let's read some comments that have appeared in the chat. The real big deal is the Cleopatra documentary that race swapped and claimed to be factual. Yeah. Look, if you're going to present something as fact, that's why I really carefully worded today's unpopular opinion with fictional characters. But even the Cleopatra thing, I'm going to be honest with you, for me, didn't feel like a big deal because of everyone making fun of Netflix. It gave us all a wonderful moment to laugh at Netflix's poor attempt at making a factual documentary, and I kind of enjoyed that. The Cleopatra one was weird, says Min. It was, but I mean, she was a real character, and again, I don't agree with rewriting history. I'm talking specifically about fictional characters. As a person of colour, the fictional stuff is fine, but when it starts changing history, it's the problem. I agree completely. Con, by the way, Con joining us from South Africa. Isn't there also one on a Queen of England that they wanted to hire a black actress for? I'm not sure about that. It could be. Sorry, I'm receiving messages. You can probably hear my phone. I'm just muting it now. Let's see. I agree it's not a big deal after all, but in both ways, I don't think it's offensive to the characters of a different race or their creators. But I don't think it does a good job in empowering minorities. First of all, most characters are race neutral. They just happen to be conceived in a given race. But it doesn't mean they have to be of such race. I agree. Let's go back to the mermaid, shall we? Which seems to be a real point of contention for most people. I would ask you the question, how many mermaids have you seen in real life? And what was the colour of their skin? Yeah, please, anyone. Can you tell me, what skin colour a mermaid is in real life? Because for me, there's nothing in the Disney story that required Ariel to be white. And you know what I mean? And even if the possibility existed that it would kind of offend me or bother me or spoil my enjoyment of the movie, I have this special technique. I just don't go and see it. Why is it people getting so upset about things? I remember enjoying the first few episodes of the new Amazon Lord of the Rings series. I mean, eventually it got much worse, and I stopped watching it. But I remember the furor around having black hobbits. I was just freaking out because I hadn't seen the actor Lenny Henry in ages, and it was great to see him on screen again, and I had no idea people had a problem with black hobbits. But it's based on Western Europe. Oh, shut up, please. I mean, it's based on how many Saurons exist in Western Europe? As far as I'm aware, there's only one. And he's running for office in the States again in 2024. Oh, hot take. It doesn't matter. And if you want to get into fictional characters that have been race swapped, if this is a problem for you, well, let's take a look at one possibly fictional character who was born in Nazareth or Bethlehem. I don't know where the guy was born. You know all those pictures you see of Jesus looking like he was born in Oxford? Guess what? He wasn't. He was born in the Middle East, my friends. You want to talk about race swap? How's about Moses? You believe Moses existed? Maybe, maybe not. I'm going to bet that if Moses did exist, he didn't look like Charlton Heston. If one thing can be true about a mermaid, another thing can be true about religious figures. Let's not gatekeep race, shall we? It doesn't matter if a hobbit is black. It doesn't matter if Ariel is a person of color. It doesn't matter if Snow White is Latina. It just doesn't matter. Just doesn't matter, friends. Guys, I'm going to post the poll in the chat and you're going to tell me, guys, so many things you could have been doing this morning. Instead of doing those things, you took the time to spend some time with me, and it means the world. I'll see you soon. Hey guys, if you'd like to support the show, you can do so on Patreon. That's patreon.com/professional bohemian. There you'll find VODs of the episodes as they are recorded live, blogs, vlogs, and behind the scenes content. If you'd like to watch the show live, you can do so on twitch.tv/professional bohemian, and you can participate in the polls we use in the show on Instagram @professional bohemian or Twitter @ProBoh, ProBoh. Okay, on with the show.
The ProBoh Show!
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the show. If you just tuned in, what did we cover in the first half? We spoke a little bit about the heat dome. Explained in my own inimitable way what a heat dome is. The heat dome that's currently affecting South Central Europe, here in Spain, Portugal, France, Italy, the Balkan Peninsula, experiencing unbelievable heat right now. 27 degrees in Madrid, and it's 9 a.m., friends. 9 a.m. Central European time, 3 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, and 12 in the afternoon for our friend out there in Russia. Then we spoke a little bit about Tesla syndrome from an author from the Daily Beast, explaining why tech may be making us miserable. The constant march of progress that is happening in technology could be making people miserable. And then finally, we covered the admission by Elon Musk that his platform X, formerly known as Twitter, may fail. This coming about because of a glitch that deleted, a problem, a small technical issue that deleted a ton of people's Twitter photos. And we also covered an interesting piece of news from federal court ruling in the States stating that AI-generated art cannot be copyrighted, and how that may have consequences for Hollywood studios right now that are negotiating with actors and writers over the current strike that's happening. Interesting. Then we moved on to today's unpopular opinion, which was race swapping fictional characters is not a big deal. I did get a lot more comments on Instagram, but I'm going to leave those for a time. So I'm sorry if you did write to me on Instagram. I want to focus in a little bit on what people are saying right here in the chat. Nessa says, I don't really think it matters unless it changes the original story's background. I mean, you're not going to change Pocahontas into a blonde white character. It wouldn't make sense. True story. True story, man. I couldn't agree more.
That gets the ProBoh stamp of approval.
Yeah, I mean, there are certain characters that need to be a certain race, right? For example, Black Panther in the Marvel Universe would not make sense if he looked like Steve Rogers. He's an African king, right? You'd expect him to be black, right? But Captain America? I don't mind if they cast a Korean Captain America. It makes no difference to me. It doesn't matter to the character. Oh, I can see a lot of people getting triggered by that statement. You know what? If you're getting angry right now, your tears are delicious, my friends. Your tears are delicious. I think a better written original character of colour is more useful. I don't care too much in the end, but race swapping Snow White is a bit weird. She's named after her skin colour. Plus, in the end, it's a pretty shallow character. I mean, more than changing her into more than Snow White being a Latina character, right? What more bothers me is, like, Snow White's thing was she wanted to fall in love, right? And now all of a sudden she's some kind of warrior princess. Why isn't falling in love enough for a movie anymore? Why is one character in the search of love? Why is that not enough of a motivating factor anymore in Hollywood, especially if it's a female character? You don't think men want to find love as well? You don't think women want to find love? I don't understand why all of a sudden every woman in media needs to be, needs to be some kind of warrior princess. You know, I would make the same statement for men as well. You know, most men in Hollywood, most male characters, you know, love is a motivating factor. I don't understand how that's all of a sudden become kind of a dirty word. But does it bother me that they've hired a Latina actress to play Snow White? No. In the end of the day, you know, the box office will decide if people like it or not. I don't need to add my opinion. I can go and see it or not and not get bent out of shape about it, not get angry about it, you know? Let's continue anyway. Pedro, but I think there are many historical and functional characters out there that would be better fit for Black, Asian, or Latinos, says Pedro. I think I agree with that. Just make another Moana or Encanto. Both main characters beat any old Disney princess. True story.
That gets the ProBoh stamp of approval.
True story. I agree with that. A group of Karens are walking into your house right now, Rob. Yeah, I expect an onslaught of hate online. I don't care. I get a vicarious thrill over your disapproval. I mean, why don't we create fictional characters of different race from its origin, like Black Panther? Well, we have and we do, but they just tend not to be as they haven't been, I guess, as popular. I don't know. I honestly don't know the answer to this question. You know, why aren't they? I mean, right now, for example, Blue Beetle is in the cinema, tanking in the box office. A Latino lead playing a Latino character, not doing that well. Sadly, that doesn't mean that that minority groups don't belong in the lead in cinema. Again, look at Black Panther, killed it in the box office. Both 1 and 2. I would argue that 2 isn't even that great a movie. So there is a space for that. I just don't know why Hollywood won't create original characters anymore. It just feels weird to me. Why are we're kind of running through the treadmill of regurgitating IP, intellectual property, and then changing that intellectual property? Is that the problem most people have about it? But I've got to say, like, works of fiction do not upset me that much. They just don't. They can do, you know, they just don't. When they race or gender swap a character, I don't lose any sleep about it. I don't need to go into the first internet forum I see and cry my little middle-aged white man tears over it. I just don't. I don't care. FridayCon, rather create original content with people with my skin than change something just to appease me, says Con. Again, echoing that comment there about how it can be sometimes superficial. It can feel superficial when they just race swap a character with no particular reason. Interesting point. Wasn't the main problem for people the black elves? Yeah, they don't exist in real life, but they do have depictions in books, and people get angry when you deviate from that, or at least use it as an excuse to justify their feelings. Was it the black elves that pissed people off? Same argument. Like, what color skin was the last elf you saw? You know, and the problem with that show wasn't the diverse cast. The problem was poor writing for me, you know? Pedro, by the way, maybe Cleopatra was actually black before the Muslims. Egyptians were mostly similar to Ethiopians. I read somewhere that she was probably more Greek of origin. I don't know how much truth there is to that. Don't crucify me online for that comment. But I heard Phoenician, was she, or something? I don't know. Min says, I don't get it from either side. I don't see why you'd be upset over it, and I don't see why this world would empower you if you're a POC. It's just marketing trick by large film studios. Yeah, I think so too. Yeah, rather give me a good Star Wars than a culturally diverse one. Yeah, there's something that, Connie's making some great points here. Yeah, why regurgitate IP, or why just race swap characters? Why not write good stories with people of color where it's relevant to the story? Well, people of color, people in minority groups, from Asian, black, whatever, and make it relevant to the story, embrace that culture, rather than just use previous IP and then enforce identity politics onto it. So now I'm kind of getting a little bit backtracking on what I said before, right? Whereas it doesn't make me angry, I do understand why people get upset about this. It shows a real lack of creativity in Hollywood, and that bothers me more than race swapping characters does. What we need is good new script, says Nessa. I agree.
That gets the ProBoh stamp of approval.
Rob, I had trouble adapting every time Doctor Who regenerated. Yeah, well, there you go. There's a brilliant example. Like in British culture, Doctor Who is kind of a staple, right? We've had a female Doctor Who, a black Doctor Who, but it's part of the character, whereas he regenerates, he dies and comes back as practically a new personality, as a new person. So I guess maybe as a fan of Doctor Who, I'm a little desensitized to this kind of thing. I just don't care. Jeffer says Captain South America. Dude, if the story was good, I'm not South American, but if the story was good, I would go and watch that movie and enjoy it. People's race does not affect my enjoyment of a film. I don't understand why it would other people. Captain America was conceived as an American war hero from the 40s, so he had to be white, as racism was the rule in the US, says Pedro. Wow, great. Symbol, good morning, nice to see you. When the heck are you going on vacation? Symbol, I don't have vacations. Hopefully in September, October, I'll take a little break. I've got a lot of work at the moment, so it's impossible right now. I thought Black Panther was by far the most popular among POC, though. People of color, though. Yeah, I mean, I would imagine he is. See, we white people in Western Europe, or I guess in the States as well included, we have seen our race represented to us in modern media forever. If you were a black kid growing up in the 80s and 90s in the States or Western Europe, like, who were your heroes? Dude, if I were a black kid growing up in Western Europe, I would have gravitated towards Black Panther, not because of some racial kind of loyalty, but I think we like to see ourselves represented on the screen or in the pages of a book, and I don't think there's anything wrong with that. And that's why, to a certain degree, I kind of sympathize with Hollywood studios trying to include people of different races and colors in things where they maybe don't quite belong. To go back to the elf example in the Lord of the Rings, I mean, so what, man? So what? Plus, the black elf was a pretty badass character. I dug him. Anyway, let's continue. Let's see, MJ Symbol. I've got an unpopular opinion. Brace yourself. One never gets over a heartbreak. 100%. That is a good one. Maybe we'll do that one this week. Pedro. Cleopatra had very remote Greek origin from Ptolemaio. Okay, thank you. All right, guys. So there we go. Should we get into the results of the poll? As I said, on Instagram, 65% said true. But what did you guys say? 78%. Also true. Oh my gods. Well done, guys. So I guess it's not a big deal. You know, I often wonder how much of a big deal anything really is. We see a vocal minority complaining about such ridiculous things, and my first thought always goes to, you know, is the outrage around this real? If I go to the average man in the street, do they care that the Little Mermaid is black, or that Snow White is Latina? Or are they kind of jumping on the bandwagon of a created outrage? You know, an outrage that is palpable only on the internet or in certain news media. But on the street, really, I think most people don't really care, do they? Do they? Because in the end, you know, like it or not, we live in a capitalist system, and the box office receipts will tell us what people want to watch. If you don't want to watch a Black Mermaid, don't watch it. If you don't want to watch a Latina Snow White, don't watch it. One group of people I can guarantee are probably not complaining about a Latina Snow White, Latinos, a Black Mermaid, the Black community. You know what I mean? Is it, you know, to a certain extent, can we not be happy for those minority groups that are experiencing more representation in media? Me as a white man, I've seen myself represented in all kinds of media from the day I was born up until now. Isn't it someone else's turn? I remember when Wonder Woman came out and all the news clippings of women experiencing this super badass superhero kicking ass. In some cases, clips of women like crying from the emotion they felt. And I'm like, yeah, you go, man. That's awesome for you. Because I've experienced that all my life. From Arnold Schwarzenegger movies to Rocky and Rambo. I'm like, yeah, that's how I feel. When I watch myself, my cultural and gender represented in media. So why don't you get to have a share of that? Is it not a little selfish? Is it not a little selfish of us when we complain about that kind of thing? And at the end of the day, if it's not popular, well, the box office will tell us that. But one thing I'm not going to do is I'm not going to waste a moment of my time being upset about it. Even if they took a character that I feel necessarily needs to be of a certain race or gender and changed it, even if I did feel that was inappropriate, I certainly wouldn't let it ruin my day. Not even a moment of my day. No way. Let's continue with the chat. I'm very underrepresented in movies. Last time I can remember is Napoleon Dynamite.
That gets the ProBoh stamp of approval.
I like Captain South America, but what language would he speak? And which country would he or she represent, says Pedro. But now, Rob, everyone gets worked up about everything. Here's the thing, Nessa, I'm not sure they do. I think there's a very small section of people that listen to a certain kind of podcast and a certain kind of person, and they kind of adopt a certain amount of outrage when the outrage doesn't really exist out on the street or in real life. It's almost like a self-fulfilling prophecy. You know, you're much more likely to click a link of a person, you know, outraged about something than a person just being content. You know? Let's see. Let's turn Rocky into a black man. Dude, I'd be down for that. We have Symbol. We have turned Rocky into a black man. Have you not seen Creed? Do you not? I mean, I like the Creed movies a lot. Maybe not as much as Rocky, but I like the Creed movies a lot. I think the acting's great. I think Sylvester Stallone does a great turn as Rocky in those movies. And maybe people aren't as angry about Creed because it's handled in a much more sensitive way, perhaps. You know, they actually created the character. Yeah, it's an interesting topic. That's why we're still talking about it so late into the show. Why on earth would you change their race? I hate the inclusion era. Why the heck change it? Symbol arriving too late for the vote. Rob, please check out Lady and the Tramp 2019. I completely disagree. Okay, I'll check it out. Captain South America could speak Russian and be from Thailand, for example, says Born to Iron Man. Okay, so that was today's unpopular opinion, which was race swapping fictional characters is not a big deal. Look, I get it. I get that Hollywood isn't creative enough. I get that we keep on dragging up the same intellectual property and then shifting superficial things like race and gender just to kind of appeal to a small share of people. Well, let's not forget, media have done this for years, like pop music with rap verses just to appeal to a certain section of the urban music market. You know, it's disingenuous and it's crap, but I'm certainly not going to get upset about it. You know, and I don't think you should either. If anything, you know what I mean, if you're a white person listening to this and you feel like, you know, underrepresented, then I would just say, look at any media property from year 0 to 2010. You've been well represented in the media, guys. Maybe it's someone else's turn. You know, is that such a big deal? I don't think so. But hey, guys, that's just one opinion. And like Grandpa Bo said, opinions are like buttholes. Everyone has one, and they all stink. And that one's mine. Let's see. Not sure about that, Rob. Not talking about the internet. In real life, people surrounding me are just irritated all the time. True story. Tried to convince the Argentinians or the Brazilians, says Pedro, to have a Russian Captain South America. I hope it's not me who irritates them, says Nessa. All right, guys, let's move into... Oof, running out of time. I think we're going to go straight into today's Complete the News.
Complete the news.
All right, this is Complete the News. I have a news story here. I'm going to give you a titular, a title. Or the headline. And you guys are going to fill in the blanks using the 3 options I give you. Okay? For those of you watching the show who haven't really been able to interact, maybe too nervous to share your opinion, that's fine. But this, my friends, is your moment, because all you have to write is A, B, or C. Okay. Vero says, I love Grandpa Bo. I love Grandpa Bo too, Vero. We have that in common. Okay, so here we go. A cop is arrested and fired for allegedly stealing blank. Detienen y despiden a un policía por presunto robo de blank. A cop arrested and fired for allegedly stealing blank. Is it A, Pokémon cards, B, confiscated drugs, or C, Post-it notes? I don't know how you say Post-it notes in Spanish. Post-it notes are those little yellow square notes. I think you'd say notas autoadhesivas. Oh my God, that's a difficult word for a British mouth. Post-its. You said post-its. Thanks, Symbol. Okay, so there you go. A cop arrested and fired for allegedly stealing blank. Is it A, Pokemon cards, B, confiscated drugs, or C, Post-it notes? Vero gave me a nivelazo, but I feel like I don't deserve it after completely killing the word autoadhesivas. Still getting hit badly. Okay, it seems like A is in the lead. Is that true? Pokemon cards. We see a few C's. No one going for confiscated drugs. All right. Shall we see if you're correct, friends? Posti says the bridge. How you would say post-it notes. Un posti de toda la vida, no?
¿Será posible? Vaya nivelazo.
Okay, is it post-it notes? Pokemon cards, confiscated drugs, or post-it notes? Okay, we've got a few A's. B is being represented. C would be logical, says... B would be logical, says Nessa. Confiscated drugs. Seems to me like A has taken the lead. Pokemon cards. Let's see if you're correct. Okay, so here we go. A cop arrested and fired for allegedly stealing... The answer is A, Pokemon cards. I couldn't fool all of you today, but I did fool some of you. So this is a true story coming from gamersubculture.com. An Alabama corrections officer, Josh Hardy, was arrested and fired after allegedly stealing Pokemon cards from a Walmart store, an act witnessed by a loss prevention employee. A loss prevention employee? Are these the people who follow you around the store making sure you don't steal anything? Anyway, upon fleeing the store, Hardy was later found at a local restaurant still possessing the stolen items and was subsequently arrested by Oxford police. Calhoun County Sheriff Matthew Wade expressed his embarrassment and disappointment over the incident, swiftly terminating Hardy. Oh my God. Imagine the embarrassment of being a cop and being arrested for stealing something as banal as Pokemon cards. Oh my God. All right, guys. All right. Well, that brings us crashing towards the end of today's show. My God, you guys have done great work. I understand how today's topic, or today's unpopular opinion, may sit a little uneasy with you, okay? Because it's obvious that you can see, in most cases, both sides of the argument, right? Like me. And you may sway towards one or the other. Like me. I sway towards it not being a big issue. I sway towards I'm not caring so much about whether someone is race or gender swapped in a piece of media. Because 9 times out of 10, when it's handled poorly, the box office itself autocorrects. I don't need to be upset about it. Today's unpopular opinion is much more of a comment, not about race or gender swapping, but about outrage culture. Outrage culture. And it is going to be something we cover more in the future. Outrage, indignación, you would say. Una cultura de indignación. We find people getting more and more upset about trivial things when there are actually real things happening in the world. And this is something we're going to deep dive much more in future shows. Guys, thank you so much. All of you for being here. There's so many things you could have been doing this morning, on this beautiful, beautiful morning. But instead of doing those things, you took the time to spend some time with me, and it means the absolute world. Guys, I will see you tomorrow. Thanks, and goodbye.